Yay.
I'm waiting for this advertisement to end so I can actually hear myself.
All right, since all of you will have free moments and I won't because I'm going to be struggling with this whole thing. I hope you like my fire. This is a nice fireside chat because I had nothing else to put in there today.
Oh, cute.
Oh, you did it! Yay!
Nice. Very nice.
But everyone should open this questions document.
Okay. Drew, I can only hear you in one side of my headphones.
Yes.
Everybody who's listening right now, we're just working
Bucky.
out kinks because it's the first time we're live. So just give us a minute to make sure we're good.
Hey, Bucky, run out to by the table, that giant box, and grab an XLR cord and meet me at the stairs.
Ooh, there's like a treasure hunt going on.
My dad has informed me that we are live as well. So since
Yay! Hi, Josh's dad.
Oh, hello.
Is that your impersonation of your dad?
No, I was waving to my dad too. That's all.
I thought you were speaking for your dad.
Oh no. I mean,
Hello.
it's pretty close. But hey, everybody who's here. This is going to be the first episode of Talking Initiative. It's a show we've been trying to ponder about for a while to see how it would work, but we decided to do this, which we will discuss the last two episodes of The Gunman Comes Around, episode 25 and 26, which is the arc finale. Jesus. Guys,
mute your microphones.
Mute your microphones next time.
Made it. Sorry.
That's why we have Celeste here, is because Celeste was our amazing guest playing Rictavio or Van Richten. We can spoil that now because you're here.
Whichever you prefer.
Yeah, whichever.
Okay.
Two unique characters, all in
Sorry.
one.
I just smacked Drew in the face with an XLR cable. Sorry.
Good. So we will go into those episodes, and we will also go into some questions which we received from you guys on Discord, on Twitter, email, whichever way you guys wanted to get to us. There was a few referring to me as evil and mean, which was a little mean, but I mean,
That's a general consensus.
General consensus.
All right, how's that sound? Better?
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah. Got both things running here?
I hear you in both.
You did it on the Switch?
I plugged them in. This is the best I can offer here. Oh, hey, there we go. Now it should be much better.
Awesome. And yeah, so Drew, John, I gave everyone a rundown of what we'll be doing.
Well, before we get too far, I want everyone to know I put on pants for this, so you're welcome.
Oh, wow.
I put on pajama pants.
You barely put on pants for work, so it's a.
That's true. I do. I don't often like to.
No,
wear.
I have to sit next to him every day. It's not a pretty sight.
Listen, I get in at 7 a.m. No one's there. First thing I do is take off my pants.
You have a solid hour of no pants until somebody else comes into the office.
Oh,
Exactly.
Celeste,
Sorry.
no.
Hey, Drew. Apparently we're still a little quiet to everybody. So can you raise our volumes?
I can do that.
So, and also, this is probably everyone's first time seeing us, so we should we have our names below ourselves. But hi, I'm Josh Perault. I'm the DM for this current campaign. Someone else go.
That's my mug.
That's Drew. That's Drew Tillman.
Yeah, I'm Drew. Sorry. You can recognize me because of the beard.
I'm Nick Figueroa. I play Kent.
I'm Bucky. I play Ven.
I'm Celeste. I was on 2 episodes playing Rictavio. You can usually find me on Venture Maiden, so I'm used to this whole thing. But I'm here to cheerlead these boys, make sure they make it through this live stream in one piece.
Just control us and as we veer off topic. Yeah. Like boys, come on.
Hey, focus. Look at the storm. Look at the T-Rex.
It's never going to work here. Sorry. You can never keep us on topic. We don't even do it in game.
That is true. That's why I heard you guys like a bunch of cats. So what should we dip into first, Drew? I feel like you're running the whole Twitch thing. What should we do?
Hold on, I'm fiddling with audio here because apparently it's still quiet.
You're the DM. You didn't write your DM notes for this?
I don't write notes.
Drew, apparently you are loud, but everyone else is quiet.
Yeah, I'm trying to fix all these little. I got a million knobs over here. There's a lot going on where you can't see it.
I was about to say, I hear everyone fine, but it's going through you, and I forgot about that. Cool. So thank you guys for bearing with us as we work all this out for you fine people.
See, I know what you're thinking right now. You're thinking, man, they should have tested this before. And you're right. But...
Ooh, everything sounds good to Lazy Mermaiden.
Thank
Nice.
Hi, Katie.
you. Hi.
Did you need to scream that at Katie?
Yeah, I used to say hi to Katie.
You couldn't do it quietly? You had to
No.
yell? Okay. All right. Well, then, first thing, let's talk about these episodes.
Cool. Now, do we want to start with 25, 26, or should we like just kind of pitch what the arc was?
You know what? We can pitch what the arc was first.
Cool. Nick, would you like to take this because it's all about you?
The arc was my arc.
It was your arc.
Yeah, it was your arc.
I didn't realize it was my arc until halfway through, and then Josh was like, "This whole thing is about you," and I'm like, "Oh,
You didn't get that?
well." I probably should have caught on a little bit sooner.
I mean, come on, Nick. I love you. You're amazing.
This arc was very, very informative on Kent's life and backstory, and honestly, his future, where his character is going, and I'm actually super surprised at the events that have taken place. Josh has done an amazing job crafting this story and melding it into our backstories. And
Thanks,
so,
man.
Well done.
Well, don't inflate his ego too much there.
Well, I mean, honestly,
He's still evil, and we hate him.
this is one of my first D&D experiences, and if most of my D&D experiences after this are anything like this, I'll be playing for the rest of my life because this is fucking awesome. Can I curse? Are we cursing?
Yes.
Yeah, curse all you want.
That was awesome. But yeah, over the course of this, we've seen. I don't know if you want me to get into general story points, but over the course of this arc, it's been very much a character growth moment and gaining connections to the other members of the party. I feel like I kind of started off as this goofball, and I still am, but it's this arc that I really actually start relating to, especially Bucky's character. Then Ferguson comes in and rocks our world completely, and then Rickton opens my eyes to a whole new possibility of stuff. So
I mean, to be fair, your backstory was like 2 sentences.
It could fit in like an iPhone note.
Yeah.
In contrast to John's novel.
Well, I mean,
we'll get to
that's all because I'm a huge procrastinator, and I apologize.
Dude, it was good because that little bit that you gave me, it was enough just so I can get where your character was in a very simple manner. Then I can just run with it, which Rictavio as a character, I was able to just tweak ever so slightly and I just did that little tweak and Celeste just ran with it.
And it's something that I don't, I really actually appreciate how much work Bucky goes into his backstory and how well he knows his character every time he plays. However, for a first timer, I've only played one other time slightly before this. It's very fun for me to realize things when the DM is explaining things as well. It's not stuff that I'm coming into the game knowing about my character. It's all of a sudden Josh is revealing this information, so I'm playing the game as opposed to knowing everything about myself going into it. I'm with the audience in finding out information, finding out characters' motivations, and it's actually really genuine. All of my reactions in this that I've been playing have been 100% genuine. I'm finding out this stuff just along with everybody else.
Your reactions are one of my favorite parts, man. You're just so into it.
Honestly, like when we're all just tooting each other's horns, which is fine. But Josh, the way that you just basically describe story elements, it's super entertaining for me. Like I can go back and listen to our episodes and enjoy them outside of just hearing myself, because I genuinely enjoy the amount of work that everybody puts into this. And I appreciate you guys taking me along and just letting me just wing it the whole time.
Listen, someone has to throw it off the rails, and I'm glad it's you, man.
That's what I'm here for.
Cool. So thank you for that kind of synopsis but inside look into the arc. But yeah, the arc essentially started right after, obviously, the end of Barovian Rhapsody, where Donna's character of Callista ended up going off because Donna had to leave the show for a bit. And then we progressed towards Valakai, and then proceeded onward with Rictavio Van Richten off to the Wizard's Tower, which is part of Madame Eva's little tarot card forecast, and discovered who he was really about while the group got the Tome of Strahd. And then there's a werewolf fight, and they wandered off towards a new place. That's just the Spark Notes version. But if we're going to discuss the last 2 episodes, 2 episodes ago was the werewolf fight right after Kent and Van Richten's little moment. So Celeste, you DMing this game before, you know Van Richten, and people didn't really get to hear your take on all of this. How did you approach Van Richten to the book and what we went over, and why do you enjoy the character so much? Because I know it's like your favorite person from the book.
Oh yeah, I mean, I've been running my group at home through the Curse of Strahd campaign, and then I started listening to Taking Initiative, and I was like, what? This is such a cool, awesome, like weird spin take on Curse of Strahd. So when Josh asked me to be Van Richten Rictavio, already that was one of my favorite NPCs I had ever run during the Curse of Strahd campaign, and I already had my ridiculous voice for Rictavio picked out, and I love Van Richten. He's such a sad piece of shit, in the books, everything about him in the backstory, and it's all sort of, I mean, Wizards of course did a really great job with leaving it sort of vague and open, like what he has been doing this whole time and how he has come to this place. So I found it really easy to incorporate, everything, the little details you gave me. And I'm like, oh, that makes perfect sense. And, it just works so well with his like FU personality. Like, he's on his own, and he's, why is he so sad? Oh, it totally makes sense that his partner was killed. And why is he here talking to this group of PCs? Oh, yes, because one of them is actually connected more intricately in the backstory. So it was really easy for me to incorporate all of that. I didn't feel like I was fighting, the written material at all. So it just gave a cool amount of depth to the character that I really enjoyed.
And what do you think of the moment that you had to watch Kent grow and kind of help him along in that? Because without your character doing that, I don't know if Kent would have really progressed forward. He needed that swift kick in his little halfling ass.
Well, he definitely would have become more like Ferguson, which would have been better.
Nobody needs to be like them.
Ferguson already
Don't
had
insult.
his fingers in Kent's love for Ferguson was growing exponentially, and Van Richten needed to come in and squash that down just a little bit.
Oh man, my one complaint, Josh, is you didn't let me kick Ferguson's ass, because I totally would have done it.
We would have.
I would
we
have sat
would
back and watched
fought,
that.
and it would have been terrible. And then I would have come to California to fight you.
Yeah. That moment where like you came up to Van Richten, and I was like saving you from a freaking trap, man. And then you're like, no, who are you? And you like pinned me against the wagon. I was sitting there like, oh, I can't kill a PC. Josh will be so mad.
Josh, he has no heart.
It's his third character. Like, what's a fool?
That's
right,
true.
Hold on now.
Right.
I knew that was going to happen. Come for.
Oh, and there we go, talking about your characters again.
I've been attacked.
I was just waiting for the moment in like Airbud where Van Richten was on one side and Ferguson was on the other, and it was just like, come, Kent, come. And I
Van Richten and Ferguson were in Airbud.
What's up?
I missed this version of Airbud.
At the end of Airbud, there's the
Dog's
clown
in the middle, and the
dogs
two
in the
people
middle
on the side. They're both calling him.
and the
I
dog
know.
has to
I
decide
was
who he goes to.
superimposing Van Richten and Ferguson into the scene with Airbud.
It's
Sorry.
a cooler, more gothic Airbud.
In this analogy, Kent is a basketball playing dog.
Yes, clearly, Josh.
It's a being
That's good.
you wouldn't expect to be able to do what he can do,
Mhm.
and he does.
All right. But anyway, back to the original, I guess, Airbud happened. I really enjoyed as Van Richten Rictavio serving that sort of purpose to kick Kent's ass, because I think it's a new perspective in Barovia. I think what's really awesome about Van Richten is he's there to die, like all guns out, like, let's go for it. I'm going to bring this down. I have nothing left to lose, which is kind of antithetical to like everybody else in Barovia who's just like, you know, they're like just trying to survive, or like just leave me alone one more day, or, you know, have this incredibly, you know, there's vampires living in their basement, or like, you know, they're getting abducted or something. But Van Richten is really like, I don't care what happens to me. Like, I'm here by my bootstraps, and you should be too, kid. So I thought that was a cool. I mean, his character just in general is a new perspective, and I think it worked really well. Kicking Kent's ass to be like, don't be a pansy bitch, be the adventurer boy you were always meant to be.
I mean, and also outside of the game, it kind of kicked me in the ass personally, because I'm very much a passive player. You know, I hear what you guys have to say, but I kind of rely on Drew and Bucky to lead the game, and I kind of just throw in my 2 cents here and there. So the addition of Van Richten and pulling my backstory and stuff into the main plot of the arc really made me take a more active role, and I hope that it echoes throughout the rest of the series, that I actively am trying to come up with more ideas and give more input, and I'm not so much not allowing, but leaving all the decision making to the other players of the game. You know, it opened my eyes to a new way of playing, which is I really appreciate.
I definitely saw that, like, in future sessions, just so everyone knows, like, we won't spoil anything, but we are recorded up through, I think, June right now. So we're pretty deep in, and Nick, I'll agree with that you did start taking a more active role, and you really held on to that character growth instead of, you know, backtracking to where, you know, Kent was before, because that would be the comfortable way in, but you actually dug in and grew with the character, which was great.
Thank you.
Yeah. So for Ven and Ferguson, what did you guys feel with this arc?
I felt attacked because all the reasons I've already said.
Emotionally and physically.
Somebody showed up and tried to fight me.
I'm so sorry. I was so much cooler than you, Drew. I know that was really hard for you.
It's just rude. You were a guest, or you showed up, and you're like,
in the words of Donna, it's just interesting.
It's just interesting that
it's like, I mean, if I showed up on the Venture Maidens, I wouldn't try to outcool everybody.
You have been on the Venture Maidens, Drew.
But I didn't
and you did try to outcool everybody. Everybody tries. It's okay.
That's true. That's just part of D&D. Like, look at my character.
Do you feel that that out of Ferguson, Abraham, and Mikhail, do you feel like Ferguson is the character that you connected to the most, or
no? I mean, you always stop caring when your characters die. You're just like, okay, I'll do this one now, whatever. That's just the one that I was like, I literally don't give a fuck anymore.
you just literally pile through your character sheets and you're just like, well, I guess I'll play this one.
Basically, I mean, I have a whole folder full of character ideas, but yeah, I was just like, whatever. I'm gonna die probably because Josh seems to enjoy killing me.
It seems like it seems like you're having the most fun.
The first one you killed. The second one,
I don't know what you're talking
left.
about.
The third one you're in.
I certainly did not kill myself at all. You can't prove that I did.
The society, the structure of the game is what happened.
Exactly. The game killed me, and
it's like Jumanji.
People will finally get to see this text message, and it'll be on stream. One moment.
Oh,
you guys talk amongst yourselves.
He's gonna show you a text that's a bunch of bullshit. He made it up. He's a whiz with Photoshop, everyone. Don't trust him.
It seemed like you were having a lot of fun playing Abraham, but Ferguson is the one that seemed
Here's my thing.
Could I kill myself in a clean hat? Okay.
Clean hit.
That was the text that I received that I was talking about. I saved it for all memories. That's when I was like, okay, sure. Yeah.
But inside you're like, Drew, no!
You know what?
I was like, there's another way.
Well, it was poorly explained, so you know, this is not my fault.
Is it too much to tell us what we could have done differently?
Well, not necessarily, like, without ruining the game for other people, but I did change a couple things myself. The Death House, relatively, I kept to script. For people who don't know, this is not only my first real game I DM'd out loud, but it's also my first module. So I was a little nervous in running it for obvious reasons. So I wanted to stick to the text as much as possible. One, because it's a safety net, obviously. And two, I wanted to pay the book respect and, do it as intended. And the more I've, DM this book and like kind of incorporate everyone's backstories, I've grown to improv a bit more and just kind of go off the rails. But the Death House itself was 95% to the book. So one, you could have kind of killed anything. It was just a sacrifice. Granted, there wasn't really much else around. Callista may have said Bartholomew, but he's not there no more. But even
Bartholomew's dead.
What? Sorry. So yeah, you could have. Anybody could have died, or anything. But again, you guys didn't see anything else. Or you could have tried to escape. In which case, if you did, then bad shit would happen.
Yeah, when I ran my party through it, they ended up escaping barely. I think one person was unconscious, but we had a health potion, and then both the other characters were down to 5 and 3 because the house goes ape shit. And they made some lucky rolls, to get out of there.
Yeah, so that's the other thing that could have happened. So it could have been a TPK then, and that would have been it. It is really harsh, especially at level 2 at that point. Because when you guys go through the house and then you finally hit the basement, when you guys hit the basement, that's when everyone turned level 2.
Yeah.
It's just, I'm doing milestone system for people who don't know. I'm not counting XP. The book kind of recommends that. So usually when they find like a really good item or they finish a solid area, like the old bone grinder windmill, that was one area that I'm like, you guys level up, because that was a really difficult fight. But yeah, that's what it could have happened. You could have went about it a few ways, but not too much. The house is kind of railroady, but I think it's intended that way because it's the starter and part of the adventure. Yeah. So I think we should talk about the episode for like the next 7 minutes or so, right? We want to plan on a half an hour and then go
about a half hour.
Yeah.
So then, John,
yes,
what did you think about with reading the Tome of Strahd and having Van Richten there? And I know, especially in episode 26, you were saying and commenting on Kent's growth, but also because we haven't really dipped into episode 26 and we're low on time, that book.
Van Richten first. At first, I think Ven was more questioning of what this person was going to lend to us, lend to the party in general, especially because we were lied to several times through his disguise and what his true intentions were. So, you lied, but you did it with purpose. It was with purpose.
Oh, but I'm a bad person.
Yeah, he does have a hat of disguise and a ring of mind shielding, just to give you an indication of his personality.
He's a liar, is what you're
very
saying.
easy to trust.
Yeah. So at first, I think he was very skeptical of who this person was and what they were going to lend. But once everything was revealed and out there, and it was discovered that this person was going to help Kent, I think Ven appreciated that, because I feel like Ven has like partially taken on a pseudo father role for Kent.
Yep. Ven's the dad.
He kind of is the dad, and I never intended for him to be that until Kent came around, because like he not only has Kent, but he's got Arsene, his own baby, that he's trying to figure out, and he don't know what the fuck's going on. But I think that like that once Van Richten, it was discovered what Van Richten was going to do, he appreciated the fact that someone was willing to teach Kent the thing that he really wanted to learn. So I think he more was okay with that whole scenario. As far as the book is dope. Like, it is so good, so much knowledge. We can kill Strahd. There's weaknesses. That's the best thing that Ven has ever heard in his life.
Well, what about your book, which we can go into us like explaining the book with each other before we brought it into the podcast.
So my book, the Souls book. So that book was actually like when I wrote my backstory, my novella of a backstory, that book was in there, and I wrote that I had 3 different books in my bag, but I never actually decided what that book was until me and Josh had like a sit down conversation of like, what is this and what is the problem with this book? So when we ended up deciding that like, oh, it's something that you just can't access yet or something that you don't know anything about, I was like, okay, then that's definitely something that I feel like is perfect for in the moment, since we're now like opening up. We had a harrowing experience. I feel like it was a perfect time to finally reveal, like, I don't know what this is and I need help with this. And with the whole idea of this book pertaining to souls, now he's just like, why did Grandma Ven have this? What was the purpose of this, and why do I have it now? Like, why?
And when you pulled that book up, I'm like, oh shit, I forgot to prepare that. We're doing it now.
Fuck it, we're doing it live.
Hello, T-Rex.
Have disguise.
It's here, Polish Ogre. I'm sorry. It wouldn't fit in my tiny screen.
So yeah, when that was brought up, I'm like, I knew what I wanted to do with the book, but I didn't think of like what it was going to look like or what kind of text was in it or exactly how we were going to use it. So that was kind of a workshopping experience on the fly of, I guess we'll just figure it out. And then as soon as I asked Ferguson his languages, I had a feeling you had some really weird ones. I just kind of ran with whatever language you had. As soon as you said Abyssal, I'm like, that would be it. Done.
I mean, you ran well with it.
Thank you.
Made perfect sense for what it totally was, and and it just raised more questions.
Yeah, I wanted to raise more questions, and I wanted to finally make Madame Eva's statement true that you had the ability all along, but you just didn't know it yet.
Right.
I like that kind of tie in between episodes, especially in this arc, and Madame Eva itself, who likes to tie in the entire world to that one tarot card reading. It's fun to take points and kind of thread them backwards. If it's the layout of the story.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, I just want to say I really enjoyed that little cutscene I got to record where I like threatened Madame Eva, and I was like, hot shit, threatening an old granny with my gun. I thought that was pretty cool.
I enjoyed that.
I love those little tags that we do sometimes where, we'll record an episode and maybe it's a little too inside information, but we'll have a separate recording for something that we want, like that moment with Madame Eva, that I didn't hear that until it was already in the episode. And I was like, that is so cool. And I had known that you were recording something, but I didn't know what the context was or anything like that. So I got to listen to that. And I love when we do things like that.
Yeah. And speaking of which, the end of episode 26, if you are in Twitch chat, Thistle Raven is Morgan, who is the person who voiced Roz at the end of 26. So you can find her in the Twitch.
Hi, Morgan.
Hello.
Okay, so is there anything else we want to touch on with those two episodes before we dip into questions?
Nope.
No?
I don't feel like there is.
Chat, let us know. Anything in there?
Very quickly, before anyone asks, kind of a deal. The thing that Nick brought up about the cart turning into the like big cannon and weapon or whatever.
Yes.
I have notes that Celeste and I are like, how can we make this thing?
How can we make this cool? How can we make this cool?
So as soon as Nick said it, I'm like, oh yeah, that's. I pulled it down. I'm like, that's interesting.
Weird. Why would you think that?
Such an interesting thing you thought of.
Wait, was that not part of the? Was that not part of the?
That's not in the book.
No.
No.
And then you said that, and I'm like, I looked at Josh from across Twitch or streaming. I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, I caught your side eye. I'm like,
no.
But that was fun. It was one of those, like, that's why I threw so much at you, is because we had this thing in the background that would just mow down a bunch of them. So it made it more of a fair fight, but it's just really badass. And I thought that Van Richten would have something like that.
Oh, yeah. My mech wagon? Hell yeah.
Oh,
Sure.
yeah, definitely.
Okay, so
and Beauregard also.
Beauregard is in the book. That is
Beauregard. His name isn't Beauregard. They don't give him a name in the book, which was ridiculous. So I named him Beauregard.
It's a good name.
Did that name just like come to you all of a sudden, or have you?
Yes.
Like,
I'm very impulsive in my naming.
Okay, so if there's nothing else, then I guess we can dip into questions. Drew, you made this fancy spreadsheet for us.
I did.
I did see it.
Exactly 10:30. Your timing. Is this rehearsed?
Impeccable.
Because this is awesome.
Nick, did you
not
not
get the script? Damn it, Josh.
Were we supposed to be reading a script?
Well, we were supposed to.
That's how you know we're
failed,
best friends.
so-
If we've been friends for way too long.
Yep, way too long.
Gross. You guys are gross.
Guys are gross.
So I think Drew's pulling up the questions now.
Oh, I have the questions.
Oh, okay.
Got
And these
'em.
questions again came from you fancy folks, from Twitter, Discord, email, and all that good stuff. So we accumulated them, and this is I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but this is the only time we're really going to crowdsource all the questions because we're going to be going to patrons for the questions.
Yeah. I mean, that's the plan. So we'll see if we get a ton of those. That's what I hope.
Yep.
Hope to hear random, strange questions from everyone.
Cool. And if we don't get to your question and you handed us a question, we will try to get to them in the future episodes of Talking Initiative, which the next one will be in 4 weeks.
I mean, and I love the D&D questions, but if you just want personal information, social security number, birthday.
Nope, not
ASL.
those last few. No.
Oh, sorry.
ASL,
Well,
you
anything,
can ask. That one's fine.
anything you want to know.
I feel like most people can figure that out. All right.
an open-
So apparently, if I'm going to be asking all the questions, I'm going to pick them at random.
Okay.
Drum roll.
That's not how I pick at random. By pick at random, I mean I'm going to read them.
I was doing a drum roll, man.
All right, go for it. Do it again. So I can ignore you. All right, this one comes from Lilith on the Discord. Any advice on finding and maintaining character voices? I always feel self-conscious and embarrassed when I attempt anything other than a slightly posher version of my own.
Nick, do you want to go ahead and answer this one?
I am
Yeah.
literally the worst person at maintaining an accent.
No.
It's just because also I just react so instinctively that I don't think to go into a voice in order to react. However, I love being like terrible at the voices. Recently we just played a game all together and I did a terrible French accent that went Spanish halfway through.
Yeah.
So maybe I'm not the best person to give advice at maintaining an accent. I'm more just enjoy it. It should be fun, whether you can keep the accent or it goes away and comes back. The main goal is to just have fun.
I remember Morgan, like you'll hear it in a future episode, but Morgan, no, it wasn't a future episode. It was back in into Ivy Mansion. If you're not a Patreon subscriber, if you become one, you'll get access to our bonus content. The first one shot we did was into Ivy Mansion, which was run by Bucky, and he ran it for all of us, and including Morgan and Donna.
And here's some more sass.
Yeah,
Sleepy,
a lot of sass.
Sleepy Donna.
All the sass.
Yes, a lot of Sleepy Donna too.
Oh yeah, Benadryl Donna. That's right.
And Morgan offered the advice of you just have to commit to it. Even like if you're out of character, just like drill into the voice and just talk in it, and you're just gonna have to own it. Everyone has their different strategies, and I know John, you have a theater background. How do you go about it?
Well, for me, I specifically, since we were doing this podcast, I chose Ven's accent because it's the most comfortable accent I have. It's one that I know I can easily slip into back and forth, no problem. And also, I partially think that it's practice and just listening to the accent over and over again and talking in front of a mirror, just talking it in general and practicing it on your own. And also a mixture of understanding who your character is, which is why I write such big novellas of characters, because I really like getting into the mindset of my character so that I know what I'm going to say and when I'm going to say and how I'm going to react to something when it happens.
And Celeste, you also have a theater background. You're nodding emphatically.
Yeah, no, this whole thing. So when I ran Curse of Strahd the first time, I was like, okay, I'm going to get some kind of Transylvanian accent. It'll be great. So I just ran videos of people talking with a Transylvanian accent over and over and over again and would talk back to it. And that's really how I did it. And I would like just practice saying it, the exact same phrases I heard over and over again. And then I'd try to add in words like dragon and like battle axe, because nobody says that shit in those videos. And working on that really hard, and then also it helps if you don't identify what your accent is, because it's a fantasy world. Right. So if it's not a great German accent, but it's sort of Anglo-Saxon, like don't say you do a German accent. Commit like, this is my fantasy accent.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point. It doesn't have to be specific.
Like I
accent.
said in the chat before, establish dominance. You look at your party and say, this is the accent you're going to be dealing with for the next forever.
Yep. And you know what? It's
one way to
okay
do it.
if you forget it. It's fine. Except if you're podcasting. That's terrifying. I only have like 3 accents I do, but you know what? You just make it through.
You just roll with it.
This one was not one of the accents I had, but I live in a predominantly Albanian building.
Oh.
So I'm around an Eastern European accent consistently. So I just, listen in the elevators, listen to the managers and supervisors here, and just kind of went with it that way. I also go onto YouTube and look for certain accents and go with it. At some point, I need to remember to do so if I still have it. I believe I do, which was my recording with Zach Valenti for the initial stinger on episode 9. And I was working with Zach to try and make Strahd's voice, which is relatively similar to his Hilbert from Wolf 359. But we wanted to go slightly different. And at one point he went full Transylvanian, and it was beautiful. I'll need to clip it and throw it into the bonus content or something. Remind me to do that later. But it was great. Drew, what about you?
Oh, I just make shit up on the spot. I think you could figure that out when Mikhail had 3 voices and then just an awful weird whatever that was.
And then no one can understand a goddamn word Ferguson is saying ever.
Started off with
talking about
Batman, and then it was just.
It's all very clear. I don't know what's
I'm
going on.
Mikhail.
That was please do a Mikhail impression real fast.
Hello, I'm Mikhail, and I am going to die really quickly.
Okay. Great.
Oh boy.
That was
Thank
definitely
you.
it.
All right,
I'm going
I
to
can
cut
do-
that
I can-
question off there because I don't want to hear more from that.
I can do everybody's voice.
Nope, we're done. We're going to move
We'll save
on.
that for next time. You should do my Van Richten.
This one.
Wait, let's hear it.
All right, yeah.
Damn it! I didn't have anything
Please?
prepared.
Oh,
I didn't have
shit.
anything
You
prepared.
walked into a corner.
Called out.
Let's go.
Wait,
What
can
did you
do-
learn from me, boy?
It's actually just a very, it sounds like my dad when he was disciplining me. He was just like, "Boy, you need to come and get your shit right." You know what I mean?
That boy ain't right.
That boy ain't right. And you need to cut the shit.
I sell propane. I sell gunpowder and gunpowder accessories.
Yeah. It's very subtle, but I love Van Richten's voice because it just invokes this sense of, you should listen to me. Definitely. I'm going a little Obama with that one.
A little bit.
All right. Listen to me.
My fellow Barovians.
My fellow Barovians.
All right.
All right, next question.
So this is from Pinky Chew from Discord. Are there going to be any more episodes with Hackenstone's Gambit crew? I loved Biter, Thunder, and Raindrops interactions. I feel like we can blow through this one relatively quickly.
So I've talked with Joel. He's actually the one who suggested via somebody's tweet of doing a spin-off with Biter, Thunder, and Raindrop. There's a lot of personal stuff going on right now with me, so I don't know exactly when I can get it done, but it is definitely a plan because everybody involved wants to do it. Adam was super on board with it too. So it is a plan for sure. When it's exactly going to happen, don't know. We had a plan set, but again, personal stuff may get in the way. So put that on the will most likely happen list.
There we go.
I love that character.
Me too. That whole group is amazing.
Yeah.
Let's see. Another question. I'm gonna go with SMDL2 or Stuart.
Stuart. Hi, Stuart.
This is from email, and he said, first of all, hello, I want to take a brief moment to say hi and I love your show and the many wonderful episodes. Keep me laughing, even when life had me down. So that's really nice.
How sweet.
And I'm going to skip his first question because I haven't got to think about that all week, and it's about steak, and I have to answer that correctly. The second question, though, I'm going to answer him. Don't worry. Just not right at this exact moment. The second question, though, is why is Josh such a mean and evil DM?
You had to skip to that part?
It's the only other part in his question.
Answer the question, Josh.
Why are you
I
such
want to
an
know.
mean and evil
Okay.
DM?
So here's my legitimate response. A good portion of it is because this world sucks. and it would be wrong of me to make it a very happy world. I'm sure, Celeste, you DMing this book too, you know that is
I also got super accused of being the worst and most evil DM just because it's so mean, you guys. It's so mean.
Maybe there's some truth to the being accused of being the worst and super evil DM.
Well, I will second that up.
I mean, just saying.
The whole dream.
wow.
I'm joking, Celeste. You were right.
Oh, wow.
We bonded over us being evil DMs, Celeste.
Yes, I know. Well, it's just with sending each other texts of like the horrible things that happened in Curse of Strahd every time. Like I've never TPK'd a party. I've never like blown somebody up with a trap. And all of these things were broken by Curse of Strahd.
Yeah, Strahd is rough. Is really rough. And like everyone, you probably have noticed watching the show that everyone has a specific magic item or something that's associated to them. That's my way of like, try to have some help. Sucks. The party is relatively large at times. Like it started small, but it's gotten bigger. I try to have the guest in to fill up the spots. It makes it a little bit easier, but it is still really, really difficult and it's supposed to be that way. So that's the way I like to convey it. That being said, the zombie fight in episode 12, yes, it was 12, and also the nightmare sequence in episode 17. Those were definitely from me. So Cinnamon Sticks was my fault, and the reason, and again, I've told you this plenty of times, but I will put it on record. The reason that I went after Cinnamon Sticks was I was seeing that the fight was going to go very badly. And we were going to lose a player, and in all realistic circumstances, Cinnamon Sticks was in the way of a bunch of zombies. That was a way
zombies that didn't have to be there. So
I'm aware of that. Let me
control this world. You literally control this world.
So it was one of those things of, do I be realistic about it, which is what I tend to be, and have them attack the closest thing to them, and also take away damage from the players, or bypass the mule and potentially off a player.
I would have rather you killed my character.
I think
imagine a lot of people want me to kill Abraham. So
I just imagine a whole scenario where you're just like, oh yeah, there's two zombies in front of the donkey, and they look at him, and he looks really delicious, but they just up and walk away. Like it's so weird. They just walk in a different direction.
He could have done that. Josh at any point could have changed the game.
Could have
made it not as terrible.
But moving on from that, a lot of the book is really mean. And episode 17, the nightmare bit, I wrote out, and even listening back to it, I'm like, damn, that was messed up. But it's one of those, I just kind of took off the gloves and let you have it. And I feel kind of bad because I felt bad listening back to it, but those hags were awful. So sometimes I need to dig into the really awful, dark portions of it. Like I played that part for my mom, who may be listening too, and the look I got after that was like, okay,
my boy,
sure.
why?
What have I done?
How I feel about that.
You're a monster.
But as long as you're having fun, I guess. Yeah, it was one of those like, I'm sorry, but again, it's a rough world, and I have to convey that. That's my job. So, yeah.
Also, a pack of my books says they really want to hear the steak question, so I'm going to answer that real fast. And if I have to cook a steak quickly, I'm going to marinate it for 30 minutes in Italian dressing and then cook it medium rare because it's delicious.
That's pretty good.
It's the most basic steak you could possibly do, and it's delicious.
Good call.
Yeah.
All right. Next
Is
one.
that an invitation over for dinner? Like, are we all having dinner?
I will cook steaks for everybody. Yes.
He just made chili the other day. It was real good.
I did. There's a little bit left over, and I really want it. But we're doing
Look at you taking initiative.
Get out. Out.
No, you're stuck with me.
All right.
You want someone else to read a question? You tired of reading questions yet?
I love reading questions. It's my favorite thing in the whole world. I just try to find one. You know what? Here, this one's from Fat Cat on Twitter.
Hi, Cat.
Is Strahd Dracula, specifically Gary Oldman playing Dracula?
Well, to answer that, Strahd is incredibly similar to Dracula. Not necessarily the Gary Oldman, though that would be awesome. But it's incredibly similar. That's, if I remember correctly from like the Lore You Should Know bits and hearing Perkins talk about it and Greg Tito, they were saying that there's a gigantic parallel to the Predator aspect of Dracula. That he is just conniving and not a good person at heart at all. And that's the message that was conveyed in like the original Dracula films, was he was predatory. And that's the whole thing with Arena that's going on now in the book, is trying to convey that message. So yes, it is Dracula, but at the same time, it's just the D&D version of Witch with some twists. That's that.
Beautiful. All right. I'm going to ask one last one, and then somebody else is going to read a question because I'm tired of this. Despite what I just said.
You know what? Understandable.
Yeah.
This is from Thirsty on Discord. What new D&D race, class, etc. are you dying to give a try?
Oh my god, I want to play a turtle.
The turtle?
Yeah,
I want to play a turtle.
Nick has been dying to play a turtle. And specifically, what do you want to play?
I want to play a narcoleptic turtle.
That's not what I was referencing, but
who's also a ninja turtle.
There we go. That's what
There we
You
go.
want
A
to
ninja.
Donatello in an alternate universe.
Donatello in an alternate universe who knows he has brothers but can't figure out how to get back to them and has narcolepsy.
That is really specific.
It's very,
it's coming,
specific.
guys. I don't know if it's going to be a Patreon only or if it's going to be my next character in like an actual in the full release, but it's happening. It's going to be awesome. I'm super excited. I'm already working on the voice.
I love it. I want to hear that.
Not yet. It's not finished.
Okay, well, fine. Josh, what do you want to play?
Before I answer that, Polish Ogre said that not everyone is completely evil. There has to be some underlying tragedy of Strahd. Yes, but his reasons are bullshit.
No, there's no tragedy. Whiny baby fuckboy tragedy is not tragedy.
Yep,
Yeah.
that's it.
But
That's
in
the
order
answer.
to play the character correctly, you need to relate to them in a deep sense, and you have to. Not all bad characters are bad.
Strahd is the ultimate nice guy, and it's the worst thing in the fucking world. And I can't wait to drive a fucking sword through his face. Moving on!
So, for me,
Any other character?
I tend to play the more humanoid races. I'm very bad at going way off book. I have a really rough time to connect with the characters. I used to play Drow a lot, but I kind of stick with humans more so for the feats. So when all these new classes or new races are coming out, I'm a little iffy of what I want to play. Though I did see that Eladrin is in the Mordenkainen's new book thing that's going to be coming out.
Foam of Toes.
Right. And I played in Eladrin. I'm not going to correct you. That's just what it is.
Foam
That's
of...
what it is.
Okay.
Someone put a picture up and they replaced the T and the F and they had a picture of Mordekainen with his toes all foamy. It was really weird.
Ew. I hate that
We also
so much.
we
I'll
did
send
the
it to you.
Tabaxi game with Lauren, which was great. So it was good to play a Tabaxi there. But I think of all races, I wanted to play the Eladrin. And at one point, I really want to play a Kenku. Because the sound effect stuff, as you probably well know at this point, I really enjoy. So I think it would be fun doing a lot of the mimicry.
Wait, question.
Yeah.
What's a Kenku?
Kenku? A Kenku is like a bird-like creature, kind of like a really long beak, kind of.
It's a bird.
It's a crow person.
It's a crow person.
I'm gonna.
Whereas
Google
the
it.
Aarakocra are usually eagles and stuff.
Yeah.
Kenku are crows and ravens.
And they
corvids.
speak through mimicry.
Yep.
But yeah, that's that. That's me. John?
Actually, my answer is Kenku as well, and I came up with an idea that I want to run eventually of a Kenku who comes from a far east land, who he is so in love with his culture and everything. He's obsessed with the music of that land, and that land's music entirely consists of drums. So he comes across the ocean to a new land to spread his culture through the only way that he can, and through his mimicry of mimicking the drum sounds he has heard to portray his music. And I want to play a beatboxing Kenku bard.
Spoiler, Bucky is also an amazing drummer.
Not an
Yes.
amazing beatboxer,
Thanks.
though. I listened to his beatboxing. It was okay.
It's mediocre. I'm not that good.
Celeste, what about you?
Okay.
I'm just
I
gonna
have.
hijack taking this thing. Sorry.
Yeah. I've always wanted to play Genasi, and I have a chance coming up soon. And I was
Which
really
Genasi?
well. I looked very hard. I had to make a choice because I have an upcoming PC, so I agonized for like 3 days about what kind of Genasi I wanted to be. I'm like, okay, well, what's my personality? But also, like, what has the best spell? Air Genasi is what I came to. I just want to be a genie.
See, we are on the same level because I also played an Air Genasi at one point.
Yep.
Ooh.
And Josh is going to say I'm an asshole for that.
He was an asshole.
But no, Josh was just really bad at his
No, you were an asshole.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I read that game. You were an asshole.
What happened?
I tried to use Josh to disarm a possible trap.
Me, my little gnome childish person, he just threw me into a room or tried.
That sounds fair.
Right? What are gnomes for if not possible trap disarm?
Throwing portable ammo wherever you go.
Sorry. See?
Celeste, I am
See?
I'm personally hurt. Drew, what race
Oh,
do you run?
I'm so sorry.
What race would I run? I would homebrew and run a Battletoad.
That's pretty sweet.
And I would make that the NES pause music always, constantly, forever.
I would run alongside you as one of the double dragons. That's what I would do.
Great. I love it.
I'm a Ninja Turtle. He's a Battletoad. You're going to be one of the double dragons. Bucky, you need to be a Transformer, and we'll just complete this 80s and 90s.
Oh, Beast Force. All the way.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes.
Nice. All right. Some sort of druid Warforged.
Yeah,
Come on.
I'll do it.
Just be Captain Planet.
Or that, because then our powers can combine, and then we can get a purple
There you
guy
go.
with a
Then
green
you can
mullet.
be. Yes.
Celeste, play with us
Walked on
all
into
the time.
Playmart.
Yes.
Play with us all the time.
I try, but Josh has only invited me a couple times.
Ah, Josh.
Josh.
Open invitation.
Evil DM. Evil DM.
Please.
Oh.
That's not true. I got to play with Bucky, and I played one of my favorite characters ever, but that's not out
my
yet.
God,
So.
It's coming out. It's gonna be so good.
That'd be part
I
of the
love-
Meanwhile
That
Barovia
game was
series.
so much fun.
Yes.
Mm,
So
that
Drew,
character.
Drew, you wanted someone else to read a
Yes.
question?
Yeah, someone else read a question.
Oh, this is a really quick one, and everyone can pick one. What podcast do you all listen to? That's also from Pinky Chew. So, Drew, what's one podcast that you listen to?
Come back to me, man.
John, what's
I
one
gotta pick
podcast
one.
to listen to?
The Adventure Zone.
Cool. Nick,
Do go on.
Celeste.
My own podcast, Venture Maidens. Plug.
Plug.
It's great. It's great. Listen to Venture Maidens.
I missed my opportunity. I should have said that.
That's a good solid one. I've been listening to Neoscum lately. It's a lot of fun.
Campaign from the One Shot Network.
Also great.
Yes, Star Wars Edge of the Empire. It's great.
Wait, also as a side note, Lucky Die and Nerds on a Roll.
Of course, other shows on the Spark Network.
You did so good at seamlessly putting those in there.
That was
Plug.
very good.
Plug.
Nailed it.
Someone ask another question.
Okay.
I feel like an asshole now.
Oh, this one's a very easy one. John, are we going to get more backstory? I want to know more about Ven and Arsene. That's from Fat Cat.
Behind these silver eyes.
Yes.
Yes, as Nick just said, behind Silver Eyes, wink, wink, it's Arsene and Ven. So
It's my arc.
you just got a whole Kent arc. You were now about to get a Ven arc, and it is chock full of
Oh my
backstory.
god, it's so good.
I basically wrote the game for Josh, so all he had to do was read my backstory and be like, all right, I'm set.
Yeah, I read it and went, wow, okay, that was an hour. Now it's
Yeah.
write the story. I think there was an entire episode where everyone else just sat there and listened to us talk for a while. Like at least for a solid 20 minutes.
No, totally. That was the best for me because I literally just had my headphones on. I sat back like this and I was like, this is great.
Yeah, no, that was good. That was fun. I'm excited for that.
And just give me a yes or no answer from John and Drew. This is from Thirsty. If you could nominate any of the TI cast and friends to DM an arc, who would it be and why? Should we say future thing? Like not what it's going to be, but
Yeah, I think we might as well.
Sure.
John, have at it.
I'm DMing the next arc.
And by
Or the
arc,
next
mean
game.
campaign.
Yeah, campaign. That's what I mean. I'm DMing the next campaign.
And I will be running 2 in a row after that.
And I'm running nothing. I have some things in the works, but these guys are super intimidating with the amount of information and detail they go into their creation. So
You'll be fine, dude.
I want to do it. I do, but it's scary.
As I keep saying, this is my first one. It's going fine. You can have your first one too.
It's going great.
Yeah, this next one's gonna be my first one too.
Honestly, Taking Initiative is my second favorite podcast after my own
There we
to
go.
listen to.
Plug.
I have to say that.
What is that one? What is that podcast?
Oh, Venture Maidens.
Oh, Venture.
Which you can find at Venture Maidens on Twitter.
Hey, there's something
Right?
you say at the end of all your episodes.
Oh yeah, it's hashtag Venture Away.
There we go. Yep.
Yes.
That
was
There we
it.
go.
Thank you for refreshing.
I
You're
forgot.
welcome.
I had to ask.
I'm so sorry. I'm a monster.
This one is also another very quick one. This is from Pinky Chew. Are any of you reading any good books currently?
Oh, yes.
John, I know you just finished one. There you go.
This one and the one I just finished.
Some Sanderson.
These two, Brandon Sanderson, my Lord and Savior.
You're welcome, by the way.
Yeah, thank you, Drew, for recommending these because these are like the best books ever. I'm reading the Stormlight Archive currently. I just finished the Mistborn series, which was phenomenal. But I just finished The Way of Kings, and I just started Words of Radiance, and I'm looking to get to Oathbringer so I can finish the trilogy and be so happy and learn everything about Kaladin Stormblessed that I need to know.
Drew, what about your books? What are you reading?
I'm currently reading the 5th book in the Trader Sun cycle. I think it's called... I don't remember. It's something about dragons. I wish I could remember what it was called. It's very good.
Dragons, you say?
Yes, dragons. I think you would like it a lot.
Probably.
And then after that, I'm reading the 3rd in the Brandon Sanderson Stormlight Archive. So another 1,000 pages.
Cool.
And then I may go back and read all of Wheel of Time again.
Yay! I've been doing that forever.
That's actually next on my list after I finish the
Okay, then you'll have stuff to read for like 2 years.
Yeah.
Is that what you're reading now, Celeste? What are you reading?
Well, I actually worked all the way through, so I spent a year and a half listening to audiobooks. I went through the Wheel of Time recently. Now I'm going through the Dresden Files again on audiobooks, but I'm reading the Magic Race Loose series, which is kind of old school fantasy series. I'm rereading that. I guess I'm in a mood to reread everything, but that's where I'm at.
It happens.
What about you?
I'm currently on book 4 of the Dark Tower series, and it is
Ooh,
blowing my mind. It is amazing.
ooh, it's so good.
Hold on for that book inside of a book.
Yes, when Stephen King is a character.
Yeah. Well,
And
also just the book inside of the 4th book.
I am illiterate and I haven't read anything in a year and a half. So
I've
let's
been
go
reading
on.
Curse of Strahd.
There you go.
Yeah.
Over and over again.
Bucky, ask the last question.
Okay. Is there one that we specifically wanted?
No, just
What's up
ask,
with the
ask
the
last
blue
question.
questions, Drew?
I just like delineated between yellow and blue back and forth, and I'm changing them to red as we ask them.
Would you like to do this one, John?
Sure. What is everybody's favorite class to play?
Hold on, I want to preface this real fast. Kit asked that in the mailbag questions, so that's also going to get answered in character at some point because I really want to have that happen. I want to have that whole dialogue of whatever's going to happen when
Okay.
that gets asked. Anyway, now please continue.
John, would you like to go first since you asked?
I like rogues.
Sure does.
I like rogues.
I like turtles.
There we go. Yep.
Yeah, no, I love rogues so much. They're my favorite.
I love wizards. Wizards are always my favorite.
Same
100%.
here. Wizards all the way.
100%. Yes.
I'm almost required to play bards now by everybody else in this
Yes.
group
You
chat.
have
right
to
now.
always
You're
play
very
bards.
good at it.
I played a bard once. Wait, I think maybe once and a half times, and they've loved it. So I'm gonna go with bard, I guess.
You're very good at it.
And Drew?
I don't have a favorite class. I will play whatever. Sorry.
Oh.
Yeah.
You're pretty partial to fighters.
That's because everyone's like, I want to be a magical fairy with wings and 1 hit point. And I'm like, okay, well, you need somebody to get punched in the face.
That sounds like a paladin might be right up your alley.
They were. Paladins are boring. Sorry.
They even have the righteous fury. Fine, I guess I'll do it.
I mean, that's basically my entire D&D career. It was, everybody wants to be a magical, wonderful class, and it's so wonderful, but they have no health. And it's like, all right, someone's got to do this.
You poor dear. How you
It's
suffer.
fine. Oh, yes, I suffer for the greater good.
So it is now 11 p.m. Eastern, which means we have hit our hour for Talking Initiative. Is there anything you guys want to close on before we do our sign-offs that we'll come up with on the fly?
Dragon should have
would-
pouches.
I would like to say thank you so much for having me on. It was really wonderful getting to record with y'all, and I love the show. And I hope to come back one day. And you all are great.
Well,
and thank you for giving me, yeah.
Thank you for coming on with us. And I mean, this is a very late thing, but thank you for doing podcast Annihilation with us and everything. And that was also very awesome.
That was a lot of fun.
Since I'm running the next game, I might be in touch. I may have some characters in mind.
Hey,
Well, let me know. I'm always happy to guest spot.
since I'm running the next Meanwhile in Barovia, you want to run in that and possibly die? Oh wait, you were in the first. You were in the other. No.
Wait,
Not,
wait.
Yep.
We're not secret.
we're not there yet. We're not there yet.
Secrets.
Soon.
Okay, so sign
Stuff's
offs.
going
I've been Josh Perault, your DM for taking initiative right now. You can find me on Twitter at Xyroxis the Beard. That's XIROXIS the Beard. Drew?
I have been rapidly trying to figure out how to run Twitch all week. And you can find me on Twitter at NotThatDrew. That's all you need to know about me.
I'm Bucky. You can find me on Twitter at Bucky_Masters. And also, there's no B cult.
No beat.
There's no B cult.
I have been and I will continue to be Nicholas Figueroa playing Kent Brookwood. You can find me on every social media at NicoFigs, NIKOFIGS, and dragons should have pouches. Without a doubt.
I
Can you
guess
change your Twitter handle to
Can I-
Dragon Pouch Dragon?
Pouch Dragon.
Pouch
There we
Dragon.
go.
Dragon.
House Dragon.
I guess I'll sneak mine in too. I get the last one. I feel
yeah,
so
please.
special.
Yeah.
I've been, or I am, Celeste Conowitch. You can usually find me on the Venture Maidens podcast, but this time I was on Taking Initiative. And you can find me on Twitter at C Conowitch.
All right. Again, the next episode of this will be in 4 weeks because we'll be doing every 2 episodes. So I believe that will be March 9th. Follow us on social media and the website for any information on that. And until then, we will talk to you guys later. Bye.
Yes. Bye, everybody. Bye.
Hi. Oh, bye, Mark.
The stream has been stopped. It just hasn't updated.
Okay, there you go.